Or snicker. I don't care. It's your life. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Spring River Zoo, Renee Puckett's in the middle. So I'll say Renee Puckett joining us first. Also, Jason Wright and Kevin Wilson as well. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How's life at the zoo this morning?
It is awesome, that brisky morning dew on the grass. The animals being a little bit more active than they are traditionally in the heat of the summer.
I'm kind of curious. I know we'll talk about the event here and everything, but I'm kind of curious, sir. Is it very regimented routine at the zoo? I mean, because there's feeding schedules, there's schedules to do. So is it almost like, okay? Is it kind of like running a train schedule, running the zoo life a little bit?
Yes and no. That's one of the things I like about it. It's not an office job all the time, and it's not a routine all the time. But it is important, much like getting your kids ready for school.
Yeah.
Every day you kind of, you come in, they got to get their clothes on, got to get their lunch made, and drive them off to school. But in those hours, there's the subtleties that are different.
Sure.
So we kind of do the same thing. But yeah, the keepers and I get there at 7 o'clock. We have our little powwow, and at about 7:15, we're out the door checking on all the animals, getting them ready for the morning feed, and getting everything set up to open their gates at 10.
Gotcha.
And then, the course of the day, they're doing cleaning, dietary prep, and then they feed at the end of the day, bring them in, and we close the gates.
And obviously, if there's an animal that has a doctor's appointment or something that needs done, then the procedures are in place to do.
Yep. We schedule those regular routines, as well as if an animal needs any special treatment, we contact our veterinarians.
That's what we were, and since you guys are here, you can explain a lot better. When we had Juanito on last hour, we were just kind of talking a little bit about the event, but we were kind of saying, they're going to be doing some of the enrichment stuff out at the Night of Living Zoo, where they get treats, their treats and things. But that's all part of not just the enrichment, part of their training and things. And so and we were talking a little bit about this, which you guys are obviously more qualified to talk about, but like when you feed the mountain lions and things, you do it a certain way, but that's also the same tactics used to get it ready for a veterinary appointment, or if it's got a medical procedure. So it's fun enough for us to watch this stuff, but it's all pretty important on establishing those relationships with the animals and getting them to trust the zookeepers, and likewise the zookeepers kind of understanding, what the personalities of these animals a little bit.
No, I think it's important that people understand it's just not about shoveling poo and throwing food. We are concerned with their animal welfare. So we do things like training, which is referred to as operative conditioning. Much getting the animals or even our kids used to the certain behaviors and certain requests. And that allows us to do voluntary assessments of them. And when the vet's there, we're not having to always immobilize an animal to do an assessment. So it's all cooperative. But in the process of learning those behaviors, it's engaging their mind, and they're trying to figure that out. So that helps with that aspect. As far as enrichment goes, it's just changing up the days and things like that. So, do we go up to the mountains this weekend? It's a change of behavior and whatnot for our family, but we want to change up their environment. Sometimes we add different things to their exhibits and whatnot just to break it up.
Sure. Make it, what's their home? They're there 24/7 and it's their home, and we're just visiting.
Yep.
Which, by the way, we'd love to invite everyone out to come visit here for the big annual Night of the Living Zoo event. It's a two-night event. It's going to be the Friday and Saturday before Halloween, the 28th and 29th, 5 to 9 p.m. And if you haven't been to years past, make this one your first one. Come out. It's a big fun night of trick-or-treating, and visiting booths, and, of course, seeing the animals and all the fun. It's just a lot of fun out at the zoo in a Halloween setting, pretty much.
I do want to say that we will be closing the last entry to get in is at 8 o'clock, because it takes an hour or more to get through it. So
enjoy the zoo, and we generally figure it takes about an hour.
Yeah, so it is come and go, but like we said, last admissions will be that last hour, 8 o'clock. So anytime between 5 and 8, come on in. But the event will be going till 9. So if you get there at 7:50, you got a good hour of sightseeing and eating and having fun before you pack it up for the night there. So talk about a little bit about some of the different events and some of the different things that kids and families can do if they go either that Friday or Saturday.
It's going to be more of a, you'll enter in, and then you will go walk the grounds of the zoo. There will be booths set up throughout the whole zoo with, decorations and different themed decorations throughout. The carousel will be open. We'll have bounce houses.
And it's a special themed carousel. It's not the regular old just cool antique carousel. It's with a twist this time.
Yes.
So.
You have to come and see what it is.
That thing's almost as historic as the zoo and things in Roswell in itself. That carousel's a great treasure to this community. And so when you get to see it, do it in other forms and fashions. So to me, it's kind of worth the price of admission, which is only $5, just to go see that carousel and everything else too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say something about parking too. We're going to be, because it's, we only have that front parking area. We're going to be extending the parking lot into the park.
Okay.
So, just so everybody knows when they come that there's additional parking, and there will be cones set up. So when you come in, just follow the cones for parking.
Good deal. Yeah, and because again, this is a good problem to have. It's that in years past the event gets so popular that and though there's a decent sized parking lot at the zoo there, it gets full, and so they've worked that into account for this year, and they're going to have some additional parking. So just like you said, when you get there, follow the cones, follow the signs, follow the directions, and they'll get you parked, no problem, and then you can come on in and enjoy.
And also, we'll have 3 lines set up. We'll have our pre-sales. If you've purchased tickets online, we'll have a line for that. We're going to have cash line, and then we're going to have a credit card lines.
Very good. Juanita gave a tip last hour and said it might be best if you get advance tickets. That way,
it'll be quicker
because it gets busy. There's a lot of people come. It's a fun event. A lot of people like it, and so it's kind of it's like. It's kind of like restaurants. If you always see a bunch of fire trucks sitting out a restaurant, you're like, that's probably a good restaurant, a bunch of fire. Same kind of thing. If you see a bunch of people there, it's probably because it's a lot of fun. So there's a reason for that. So
last year we had 1,800 people. We're predicting more this year as well as we grow.
Excellent. So be prepared for that and save yourself a little bit of time. That way you got more time to go and see the animals and see the exhibits and do everything. If you go to roswellconnect.com, there you can get your advance tickets. Again, they're only $5, so it's very affordable. But just save especially if you're wrangling a family and you got a bunch of kids, and I know how that works. So, wait, hold on, we'll get some ice cream in a minute. All that.
Right.
This will speed up that process a little bit by getting your advance tickets. That way you can get in the express line, so to speak, and go right on through. But if you space out and forget to get advance, no problem. You can get tickets at the gate. But be aware. It might take you a little bit longer to get through the process there.
Right.
And Mike, anybody who's doing accounting, we also want to remind you that it's free for children 3 and under.
Okay.
So if you've got the kids that are 3 and under, you don't have to add them to the $5 tab.
There you go. Save that. And here's the thing too. If you want to pay more than $5, this all goes back to the zoo. This is a fundraising event for the needs of that zoo, to take care of the animals and all of that good stuff. That's needed more often than not. So please, if you're like, want to make a donation of, here's $5, but here's 20. That would be great, because in essence, all of that goes back to helping the animals, helping the zoo, and making the zoo a better place. As folks know, the city with the master plan and everything else, a lot has been upgraded, changed, updated out at the zoo. If you haven't been out there in a while, you probably won't recognize. I mean, you will, but it's going to look a little different, because there's a lot of amenities and a lot of things that have been upgraded, and more to come too. We're just scratching the surface. There's more on the highway, down the highway here, but it's come support it. Come have fun and everything. But that $5 donation is really helpful to help that zoo grow and get bigger and better.
Well, one of the things we want to talk about helping and making the event better, as well as the zoo, is always the need for volunteers.
Okay.
So for this event, we do need volunteers. One of the things, through the gracious support of our sponsors, we're able to actually have non-for-profits be there and have their booth sponsored by a company.
Okay.
So we're actually still looking for 5 non-for-profits in the area to man a booth for us.
Okay.
That takes care of our volunteer needs, but it lets them get out into the community. So we already do have a few volunteer booths already taken by some of our non-for-profit groups.
Okay.
But we're also extending that invitation. We have 5 spots, and they just need to contact the zoo or Renee.
Okay.
And we'll get them on the list.
Probably do it sooner than later, because we're about a week and a half away
yeah.
from this event. So they probably appreciate if you let them know this week as opposed to next week.
Yes,
So.
the sooner the better, because it's a first come, first serve opportunity.
But yeah, it is a great opportunity. You're going to have a lot of people out there, a lot of folks. And if you're trying to get your nonprofit on the map a little bit, or trying to, get more volunteers or get more something, you've got a pretty good audience that maybe you can talk to and present your message to.
Yeah, the zoo is part of a greater community, and that's why we want to promote non-for-profits and our connections with the community. Is as an asset that I strive to be.
Well, and it all goes hand in hand. This is the stuff that makes our community better. It's when we talk about, draws, and you always hear, oh, we want to bring more people to our community, the jobs, and we look at your law enforcement, your hospitals, your teachers, they're all wanting to bring more people here. Well, guess what? They have to do their part and offer good salaries and do that. But the other part people look at is, well, what am I going to do when I'm not working? What's going to, and things like the zoo, or that, they got a great zoo. They got this awesome recreation aquatic center. Look at how many museums are in this town. That's the kind of stuff that people say, that's where I want to put roots down. So that's why this zoo is important. That's why.
No, I agree.
Absolutely.
And I talked to some of our sponsors, General Airframe Isaac there. He, if you're recruiting people to come and live here, he wants good quality people. Our enrichment services, or those quality of life entities, are really what helps draw new people in.
Absolutely.
It was one of the parts of my decision to move here as well. What else is there to do?
Proof's in the pudding right here.
Right?
But again, it's October 28th and 29th, 5 to 9 p.m. The last admittance will be 8 o'clock both Friday and Saturday night. Again, do yourself a favor. Go to roswellconnect.com. Pre-order your tickets. They're only $5 a piece. And that way, when you get there either Friday or Saturday or both nights, if you want to do a two-nighter, you can just roll right up through the express line, and then you're off having fun. But if you're kind of, I don't know what we're doing this weekend, there's a lot going on, and then it turns out, oh, we got some time, come on down to the zoo and come participate. Come have fun. Come in costume. Don't have to come in costume. Whatever you want to do. Just come and have some fun.
Mike, what's your costume going to be?
I'm sometimes I want to go like Poppy, like one year I wanted to do the Tiger King thing, and this year I think I'm more, I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of stumped. Maybe I'll be Dan Snyder.
I feel like you're running out of time. That's next week.
I am. Well, wait till Christmas.
He can be that guy from Up.
What are you going to be, John?
Huh?
What are you going to be?
The zoo director.
Well, you think this is late? Wait till you see me at Christmas. That's when I do my best lateness. But let me talk a little bit about being a member of the Friends of the Zoo and all that. Talk, kind of give folks a little bit of background and say, hey, if you want to get more involved with the zoo, there's lots of great opportunity. If you're one of the, if maybe you're a younger person that interested in zoo life or veterinary work and things, come volunteer, and you get to see behind the scenes of some of that stuff.
Yeah, there are some great organizations that support some of the city's effort. Joe Nebb just actually had a city hall town forum that talked about the library, the museum, and the zoo, and our supportive groups. Our Friends of the Spring River Zoo do fundraising events during the year. And we do Brew at the Zoo and Oktoberfest. We didn't do it this year mainly because the vendors or the beer providers kind of backed out because they just had trouble with staffing.
You barely had enough people.
Exactly. So those are some of the challenges. But we do rely so much on our friends for their support and doing their fundraising. It's an alternative funding source for the zoo to actually raise money for specific projects. I wanted to talk a little bit about our bear project. Getting anonymous donors to help us out specifically for things that they feel is important is kind of key. And we do have a list of things. I do appreciate people noticing things getting better at the zoo, but that's only through the help of the community, of the government, and of our friends supporting those efforts. So if you're interested, just reach out to the zoo. What I'm actually doing is we're actually recruiting to bring on a few new board members, people that really want to make a difference in the community as well as the zoo. And we just want to give them a little bit of a background, where we are financially, our budget, projects that we have, opportunities to help. And I always say when you're belonging to an organization, you need one of the 3 W's: work, wisdom, or wealth. And so if you have one of those skill sets, those are things that we can do. So,
and that's and people with passion can get a lot done. And that's and really that's I'd be honest, that how the zoo's probably been around all these years is because people with a passion have strived to keep it going, and it takes more of that. And it's great to see now that, with the master plan that I think it was 2016 or whenever they start, it's great to see that the city's saying, you know what, we need to invest. This is an asset to this community. And that's what's been going on the last 6, 10 years, 8 years here with this zoo, and way more to come. I know I'd be very anxious to when the Leprino and that stuff starts getting done out there, and that partnership there, that's going to bring a lot to the zoo.
Yeah, Juanita mentioned that we just signed a contract. So kind of our goal is to kind of do a meeting with community investors, if you will, or community interest people, just to kind of get their feedback, because this isn't a zoo that John wants to build. This is a zoo that we feel needs to reflect the community, and getting the community input on some of those elements we include is very important. So when we actually have that public meeting set up, we'll put an invite. We'll invite certain people and just kind of try to get a little bit of feedback. But that's going to be the first step of really fundamentally transforming the zoo. We've been working really, really hard to resolve a lot of the other issues with animal welfare, the condition of the zoo, doing things that I refer to the things you don't see that make everything better. But we're getting ready to do things that people can see.
Absolutely. And that's real quick. I do, we talk about, the animals and things. These, from my understanding, these are all animals that are rescues and things that are, these are animals that they would probably not be alive had humans not intervened and helped out here. So is that pretty accurate for all the
that
animals
has
there?
historically been the case.
Yeah.
The challenge comes down to is if we have a collection totally full of rehab animals, we can be perceived by our detractors that we were the ones who did it. So we do believe, and we work with Desert Willow Wildlife Rehabilitation down in Carlsbad.
A great organization.
And so we help them out, and they help us out when we need an animal specifically to it. But we're working on a collection plan that brings in animals that are not native, that may not be rehabilitated, but also serve a value for conservation education, and to give people something a little bit different. We will still continue to serve and help out those rehabilitated animals. But we have to kind of strike that right balance.
Expand it. Well, and let's face it, a zoo, yes, we want that part where it's preserving and educate, but there is that education side, and let's face it, if it's all animals native here, I mean, it's like, well, I could just go in the woods and see some of this. And no, it's like, no, I'm seeing animals that are from different continents or different parts of this continent that you don't get to see in our neck of the woods. And, granted, we have a lot of weird stuff in our part that we could probably take to other zoos and be like, well, I've never seen that thing, vinegrum. What is that thing? But you know what I mean? And so to me, that's, if you got kids, how many chances do you get to see an animal that's from Africa or from South America?
Well, part of our collection plan is I want to tie it into Roswell. You're right. There are some weird animals out there that people rarely see. So I kind of want to do an area called Animals of This World or Out of This World. That just look a little bit odder than normal. There's a lemur called an eye with a super long finger. There's something called a Jacobson sheep, which has those 4 horns. There's a variety of insects. So it's all that potential of like, where's that animal from?
Interesting. And all earmarked, these special or unique things are earmarked for one skill set or one
those adaptations.
There.
Yeah. And we'll still have the traditional African. Eventually we'll get the African, Australians, North and South America, Asian animals, all a part of that. But we realize that it's always good for people to know what's in their backyard as well. And so that will be part of our collection, especially up in the North American section as well.
Very cool. So, again, this is what we're talking about. By you coming out and having fun and trick-or-treating and riding the carousel and visiting the booths, you're having a good time supporting the community, but you're also setting the table for the next generation of the zoo and getting this next phase and getting it to a place where it becomes a draw where, the people don't just come for aliens, they're coming to the zoo too. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we'll do the aliens, but I want to see the zoo, and that's where we're getting to. And so come have fun. And if you'd like to be a friend of the zoo or join to volunteer, please ask questions, come out on one of those nights, talk to some of the staff, or like you said, reach out to the Facebook page or something. It's like, hey, I heard you guys on the radio and I heard you need volunteers. I'd like to learn about some of that. Reach out and they'll be happy.
If they reach out, they'll get a call back from me personally.
Yeah, it's because, and that's another thing I always say too, for people that complain about things, I'm like, what are you doing to help it then? Other than complaining about it. And to be honest, that's where I say, and unfortunately, in the political world we live in, you got a lot of people who like to just spread messages and things without facts or information sometimes, and we just believe it. And so I love that, the zoo and everyone else is like, no, this is what's really going on here. And we're showing you, and we want you to come see what we're doing here. And that's what it's all about in this event here. So I know there's a lot in the online and all this about stuff at the zoo and this and that. See it for yourself. Don't read some Facebook post that someone may or may not have even seen the zoo wrote.
Or it's from 5 years ago.
Or it's from, outdated. Exactly.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a little girl and whatnot, and she was referring to the video.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that was 5 years ago. Have you changed in 5 years? Well, yeah. Well, so have we.
Sure.
So,
and let's face it, it was one of those things we're trying to help is what we help, but, if there's no money, there's no resources, you do the best of what you got with what you got. And that's, you know what I mean? And that's, so the bear's here or whatever, this is what we do to take care of it. So.
Yeah, well, and I'm here and our staff, and we've brought in other people to kind of give us an idea how best to use the resources with the finance so that we're spending taxpayers' money wisely and not just spending it and then spending more later. We're actually coming up with a plan to have those solutions.
Yeah.
So complaints to solutions to make the welfare of our animals better. What I try to tell people is what we're doing temporarily for the bears is to make it better for them while we get ready to design a new bear exhibit to make it great for them.
Sure. And this is all going that direction. So it's good things.
Yep.
So get on board and help support this next stuff and help be a part of the growth in the next generation of the Spring River Zoo here. So I mean to get all down the soapbox. It just kind of ended up that way. But point is, I'll bring it back here. Come on out, Night of Living Zoo. It's going to be a fun night. Bring the whole family. Again, it's family fun, so it's the fun kind of spooky and Halloween. It's you don't have to worry about the realistic type. Some people get way into Halloween. It's not going to be.
We try to tell people it is a traditional scary stuff, but not the blood, guts, and gore.
Yes, yeah, it's your garden variety ghouls, goblins, and zombies.
Exactly.
Not your next level Hollywood versions.
Correct. we want repeat customers.
Right. we don't want to Night of Living Zoo, not the scary to not come back zoo. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Bring the whole family, bring the kids. Come ready to have fun. Come ready to eat a bunch of candy, take home a bunch of candy. And like you said, you've got 5 more booths for nonprofits. If there's any nonprofit organizations out there that would like to set up a booth at the fair that can have, just for information, if a nonprofit's interested in putting a booth out, is there certain expectations that you guys want from them to either give, or what's some of the requirements you guys are asking
with
for
even
those?
our sponsors? So even if there's somebody out there that wants to sponsor a booth for $500, they basically what we do is we tell them we give you a table, 2 chairs, and the candy for your $500. So the fact that businesses have sponsored these non-for-profits, they already have the candy. We just ask them to man their booth.
Gotcha.
And that they're there for both nights.
Okay.
Basically from 5 to 9-ish.
Okay.
Or sorry, really 4 to 9-ish because they got to set up.
Set up and everything.
We ask that they decorate, but more importantly is that they share their message, their mission with the community so they can hand out informational ballots and things like that. Yeah, even our businesses, they can hand out swag along with the candy and things like that. But it's an active fundraiser for us. But if you want to draw interest to your door as a business or interest to a fundraiser that they're doing, you can send out those little flyers or QR codes or whatever to draw people to your mission, to your cause later on a different day than what we're doing. So it's just a really opportunity to talk about what United Way does, what the Boy Scouts do, Down syndrome, all these other groups in the area that do good things.
Yeah. And a lot of them actually, as organizations, use the zoo as part of their activities and their nonprofit work too. I know for many years the Down syndrome, when they do their buddy walks and stuff, it was always out at the zoo, and that was kind of a tradition. It's like, oh, it's that weekend, we're going to the zoo for buddy walk. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's the zoo's been home to many of our organizations, events and things like that over the years.
Yeah, it's a bridge to the community that we're trying to reestablish and really enhance, because we are a treasure of the community. But by the same token as we wouldn't be that treasure without the community. So it's our way of giving back and trying to work with those organizations while still meeting the rules and regulations that we have to follow for government.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't been out to the zoo recently, it's one of those great places that's got green grass and trees, and it doesn't look like we live in a desert all the time. So if you're wanting, you know what I mean? It's a nice, like if you're looking for that getaway, I like someone like me who grew up in Maryland, this is beautiful and everything, but sometimes once in a while it's like, this reminds me more of home, something where there's green and things like that. And the zoo's one of those places around here where you sit out there on a bench at, in the park part or whatever, and you're just like, okay, this could be, Virginia, or it could be, New York, or, you could be anywhere here. And I think I love that part of the zoo too. It's a bit of an escape from is as much as it's part of Roswell, it's a bit of escape from Roswell.
Well, and that's a great discussionary point that I'd like to bring up a little bit is a zoo for tourists or locals? And yes, both.
The answer is yes. Yeah.
Even our locals need an escape. Even our visitors who come here for an escape.
Yeah.
The zoo can also provide that escape and transport you to those other countries and to those other things. Like you mentioned, no matter where you're at.
This is why the city offers the free weekend every month for not just at the zoo, but at the museums and well too. So take advantage of those free weekends. They don't line them up on so when the museum's having their free one, the zoo's not having. They try to space them out so that you get a chance to hit them all. But please take advantage of those free weekends at the zoo. Because I get it, money's tight, especially nowadays and things, and so you're trying to do stuff for your family and go to the Roswell Connect website or even the city's government website, roswell-nm.gov, and look at the calendars and things, and I'll tell you what dates. It's usually is it second for the zoo?
It's the
First for the zoo, second for the museum.
Second Saturday. I got it backwards. Yeah. So usually that first Saturday of the month is the free weekend for the free Saturday for the zoo. So come out and take advantage of that. But in the meantime, come on out the 28th, 29th. Again, go get tickets in advance. RoswellConnect.com. That's again. And if you want to learn more about getting like a pool pass or any of that kind of stuff, you'll also go to that website for that too.
Yes.
So, is there anything we missed? Anything you guys wanted to share? Or anything that we wanted to cover that I just got sidetracked on or didn't get a chance to talk about?
No, but it does bring up an opportunity that we need to be visiting more often.
Love to have you guys come in.
All
I'd
right.
love to get update. Maybe we can set something up for at least quarterly, if not monthly.
Yeah,
Come
we can
in
do that.
and visit, and maybe even bring an animal from time to time. If
We
that's
could look into that,
If that's don't leave the bear, please.
We can't bring the bear. I've checked into this. We cannot bring the bear.
I always say you can only do that one time.
Right, yeah. I'm the only bear, and I'm just kidding. But yeah, some of the more portable animals might be kind of fun.
Yeah, our
to do.
educational collection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool. We have fun. And if they're extra poopy, we'll give them to Sean.
Okay.
Just to keep them in that room. They had a big breakfast before they come on. Thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for what you guys do at the zoo too. We have a great facility out there, and it's because of people like you making that happen.
Our pleasure, Mike.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. It is 9:49. Man, this whole show is just like flying by today. Let's do this. Let's pause for news